Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining Stand Your Peas Gen Extra. I hope everyone is having a great day so far, the middle of this week, otherwise known as Hump Day. Today is Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. This is just a short live based on some news that was related to a topic that I was covering yesterday. And it was a topic that I was covering only because I was recapping one of the shows that I watched, Ready to Love. Excuse me. Ready to Love is back from a few months hiatus, which is unusual. They did that in the middle of the season, but you see the title. The title is Lil Tay, and my thoughts on that and Ready to Love also sprang up in my thoughts because there is a person that brings one of her dates to meet an ex, or he's supposed to be an ex. He's a friend in her life. He met her at 9 years old. He says she was younger than his youngest sister. So he was around 18 years old. He said there's a 9-year difference. So this Lil Tay situation, as we know, Lil Tay turned 18 a few days ago, literally last week, the end of July. And she has, good morning, Mama Beast. Thank you for coming in. Lil Tay turned 18 last week, and she has earned over $1 million in OnlyFANS. It's not about the money at all. It is about these men. That shows you who was on her YouTube. Lil Tay is a large social media presence. She still has presently over 600,000 subscribers on her YouTube. She could make money on YouTube. She actually has and can. Her parents have encouraged her in that endeavor, helped her with her channel over the years. But her father is now, I'll just tell you what he says. It says, Lil Tay's dad reacts to her making $1 million with OnlyFANS account 2 days after musician. I didn't know she was a musician, y'all. I guess she raps and stuff. Who launched an OnlyFANS account for her 18th birthday, appeared to make $1 million from the adult website. Her dad, Chris Hope, weighed in on her success. The OnlyFANS model. So now she's an OnlyFANS model. She just launched the page. She revealed that she made over $43 million in just 1 year on the adult subscription platform. In fact, she even shared screenshots. Okay, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. This launched into something else. Okay, so I'm sorry. They're talking about somebody else. This is weird with this article. I apologize. That was from E! Online. Let me not go back there. Her father, Chris Hope, actually encouraged her in her OnlyFANS journey, told her that she's going to be successful no matter what she does. And she cleared $1 million. That's in subscriptions, apparently, in the first 3 hours. So what that says to me is that a lot of people that were on Lil Tay's page over on YouTube, and I said she has over 600,000 followers. A lot of those men were over there in anticipation of this. We'll call her a little girl because that's what she was when she started her YouTube channel. They were over there in anticipation of Lil Tay turning 18 years old. So that is, to me, disgusting. Welcome in, CC, one of the moderators. The other moderator, CC, came in. That, to me, is very disgusting. I don't judge about a lot, but I will judge about men waiting in the wings, watching little girls, grooming little girls. Now I'm going to include little girls that some of these men know, not just Lil Tay, who is a social media presence. So she's protected from these men that she doesn't know, but she's not protected from people that are in her circle that may be one of the people waiting in the wings, waiting at the door. And then I'll include churches, schools, anywhere where people would know a child as a child and then wait until that person grows up. CC is saying something that a lot of us who have kind of been just watching it with a side eye during the years, myself included, believe to be true. And this is all allegedly, and in my opinion, as all of the content on my channel, it's covered under Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107. Anything I share is just for purposes of education, entertainment, commentary, though I won't be sharing any articles or videos today. We're just speaking about this because it was a topic that came up while I was speaking about Ready to Love, of all things, We had a 43-year-old man show up with his 33-year-old friend that he had known since she was 9 and he was 18 years old. And one of the men were alarmed at it, the man who was dating the girl, Kiara. And the other man, nephew Tommy, the men in that lounge where they commiserate about the dates, sat up laughing. I think this little girl was sort of put out by her family. And that's who is behind her YouTube channel, who has over 600,000 subscribers, y'all. That's my own side that I put in there. It's weird how no child protective services were ever called. If she were Black, she would have become a ward of the state. I agree with that, CC. We see how quick somebody reported Ms. Van, and that has died down. I'm sure she still has boots on the ground, but I don't think she's being actually taken to nightclubs and things like that, as her mother was doing. Her mother had a Facebook page that she said, OnlyFANS of Lil Van Van. And OnlyFANS of Lil Van Van was just a suspicious way to title it. And it alarmed a lot of people who watch out for these little slick things that certain predatory types do. Now, thankfully, I've seen a few men do videos speaking about this, but I would be willing to bet that over 90% or more of the people that were waiting at the door to give this money to see, I think her ad was something like, celebrate my birthday, see me and my birthday, or something like that. I'm not sure. But what is different from the content that she could have given them the day before she turned 18 versus what she's allowed to do after she turned 18? And with Cece's point, also, the father, Chris Hope, in his statement made some of the statement was about, well, she's 18 now, she's legal. Some men only keep the legal in their head. And we know that from the top down. We look at the orange clown wandering around on the roof yesterday, yelling down to the press, and people were laughing about it. We know this man is in full stage, more than likely headed down a dementia path, never was that bright, was always a degenerate, and is in these Epstein files. Yes, he is. He's in the Epstein files and has been doing things like having Lil Tays around since he was in his late 30s. And evidently that's where he got Melania from. Purchased right off the Epstein list, allegedly, and in my opinion. So there's a whole deep thing that goes down a rabbit hole that really you have to take a shower when you come out of the rabbit hole. I haven't shown my t-shirts in a while. I'll show one because I was thinking about this young lady. This is the young Aaliyah. Look at those eyes on Aaliyah. This is somebody else that people laid in wait and waited for until she was 18 and then used her up as much as no, some of them didn't even wait until she was 18. Let me take that back. Because Aaliyah was 14 or 15 in the industry and her parents allowed that. And we all know super producer R. Kelly is locked up now due to what we think started with Aaliyah, but more than likely probably started with girls before that, because he was in his late 20s when he was running around with her. And then when we saw that marriage certificate that was in the magazine at the time, I think was Vibe, it was a legal document. She was 15 years old. So a lot of people were going to say, I miss her too, CC. They're going to say once a person is legal, then that's when they'll start these activities. This is what the person on Ready to Love said. He said she was only 9, so nothing was going to happen. He said no moves were to be made at that time, but I was waiting. He didn't say laying in wait. I'm saying laying in wait. He said, but I was waiting until the proper time, and then I jumped on that John. He said John because they're in Philly, and he's a Philadelphia native, I guess. But the whole thing is terrible. I hope Lil Tay is as safe as she can be. Looking at Lil Tay's eyes, if you look at the thumbnail, there's something going on with Lil Tay. CC said basically what it is. The people that are supposed to protect her she's in supporting that whole family. So, of course, who's she supposed to look to for protection? I don't know how closely I can look at any of it, but if you look at the orange clown on that roof screaming and hollering, and we know what he's into, he just nominated, there is a sports council. He's nominated Lawrence Taylor to that. I used to love LT just as much as anybody until we found out what's going on with him picking up young girls. Actually got convicted for it. Yet he's on the president's sports council. I'm telling y'all, when they knock down a lot of these laws and they roll back a lot of the minimum ages and a lot of the requirements, I think what the main goal was that 18 was no longer the thing that people want to wait for. And they're not waiting anyway. Good morning, Sharon Gobbo. Welcome in. This was just a quick live on Lil Tay turning 18 and gaining over $1 million in subscribers and money over the course of 3 hours. So, of course, her marketing is good, but it wasn't that good for people to say, who's this new OnlyFans model? Lil Tay, okay, let me sign up for this and give my money. No, y'all already knew who this child was, and you waited until midnight, the clock struck midnight, and then you jumped in there and got within this little girl's OnlyFans. And I call her that because if you look at an 18-year-old and look at a 17-year-old, there's not that much difference between a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old. And that's what some of these people are trying to do. And I'm not just going to put it on a certain group of men. All of these men are doing that, including the ones that are not saying enough. I need the ones that have no desire toward this to say more. You need to say more. When I was watching Ready to Love, Jay was disgusted. He was the one that was dating Kiara. And he said the math is not math. And he was in his confessional, very strong. But when he got in that vault, and nephew Tommy said, oh, he don't remember her being bougie because he remember her being 9. And he laughed. And the other men laughed. Jay kind of laughed too, uncomfortably, but he laughed too. So the good ones that don't feel this and have no desire toward this are allowing the other ones, the other nasty ones, waiting at the door, laying in wait, calling people their little girlfriends and their play wife and their play this and all this kind of stuff, and watching them from 9 and younger until they turn 18, if the girl's lucky. But by that point, I won't even say she's lucky. She's probably been groomed by that point. So this Lil Tay story, we're going to hear a lot more stuff when Lil Tay's free to speak. If now this new money coming in, I don't know if she's going to feel free to speak. So it's very disheartening to look at. I see the trend from top down, what the orange clown is doing. He's been into this stuff for a long time. They had a whole island, and the people that are against it, some of them are not just against it because it's wrong. They're against it because they can't participate. They can't participate. That's the problem with a lot of them. Sharon said, I absolutely agree. So this was just a quick live, everybody. It's going to stay under 15 minutes because I have another live I want to get to in a few minutes. Some of you will probably be in there as well. So I just want to thank everyone for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra this morning. And I will see all of you in the YouTube streets. Please click the like button if you are new. Some of the newer topics that I discuss, if I do a Sandra P's Gen Extra just on a news topic and I put it out there and it's a shorter video, there are subscribers that come in from that. So I thank you so much. Team Replay, I appreciate you when you come in. I thank you for coming in. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Rest in peace to Aaliyah, this young lady who is, we know she's been working for so long. Y'all know she has a new song out. So some of these men, they won't get enough once the person is underage, of age, beyond age, and no longer here. So let's just send up prayers for Lil Tay and hope that she can get out of the situation if that's what she wants. And to any little girl that you know, you see some of this foolishness, play girlfriend, play wife, she's looking grown, this one's fast, don't believe it. It's that person that's projecting that onto this child. And we're going to have to be more outspoken about it because they've scared the men to agreeing with them. So those of us that know this is wrong, we just have to speak up. Thank you so much, CC. Everyone that has come in, I'll see you all later. Have a great day. Bye.